Have you ever wondered why sometimes we make mistakes in our thinking or make choices that later seem not so smart? Well, that happens because our brains work in a certain way and sometimes they can trick us. But here's the good part. If we know about these tricks, we can stop them from fooling us. And that's what we'll do today. We'll not only talk about these tricks, but I'll also give you tools to help you see them when they happen, and we'll tell you how to avoid making those mistakes in your everyday life. Today we are going to talk about some mind-bending concepts like gambler's fallacy and cognitive dissonance, just to name a few. These psychological quirks influences every aspect of our lives, from the product we buy to the relationships we form. So if you're ready to unlock the secrets of human mind, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell because you won't want to miss any of our upcoming videos. So without any further delay, let's start the video. First mind trap is the gambler's fallacy. The gambler's fallacy is a mistaken belief that occurs when someone thinks that the outcome of a random event is influenced by previous outcomes, even though each event is statistically independent. In simpler terms, it's the belief that if something has happened more frequently recently, it is less likely to happen in the future, and vice versa. For example, imagine you are flipping a coin and it comes up heads 5 times in a row. The gambler's fallacy is when you start thinking, okay, it's been heads so many times, it got to be tails soon. But here's the important part. Each time you flip a coin, it's a new and independent event. The chances of getting heads or tails are always 50-50, no matter what had happened before. So just because it's been head 5 times doesn't mean the next flip is more likely to be tails. That's the gambler fallacy, believing that past events affect future random events, which they don't. Next thinking error is cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance is the feeling that you get when you believe in two things that don't really go together, and it makes your brain feel uncomfortable. For example, imagine you know smoking is bad for your health. It is belief 1, but you smoke cigarettes regularly. It is belief 2. Your brain is stuck with these two conflicting beliefs. That uncomfortable feeling you get is cognitive dissonance. People often try to resolve this discomfort by changing their beliefs or their actions. In this example, you might either quit smoking or convince yourself that smoking isn't that harmful to reduce the conflict in your mind. Third thinking error is spotlight effect. The spotlight effect is when you believe that other people notice you and your action much more than they actually do. It's like thinking there is a spotlight on you and everyone is paying close attention to what you're doing and how you look. In reality, people are usually more focused on themselves and their own concerns. So if you spill a little coffee on your shirt and feels like everyone is staring at it, that's the spotlight effect in action. In truth, most people are too busy with their own lives to notice small things about you. Fourth common thinking error is anchoring effect. The anchoring effect is when a piece of information you receive early on influences your thinking and decisions, even if that information may not be relevant or accurate. It's like your brain gets stuck on that initial piece of information. For example, if you are shopping for a new phone and the first price you see is very high, that price becomes your anchor. Even if you see other lower prices later, your brain might still be influenced by that initial high price, making you more willing to spend more money than you originally intended. Fifth most common thinking error is halo effect. The halo effect is a cognitive bias where our overall impression of a person, often based on one positive trait, affect our perception of that person's other qualities. In simpler terms, it's when we judge someone as good or likable in one aspect and we automatically assume they must be good in other ways as well. For example, if someone is very attractive, we might assume they are also intelligent, friendly, and talented, even if we have no evidence to support these assumptions. This is because the positive trait, being attractive in this case, creates a halo around the person, making us see them in a generally positive light. Next most common thinking error is contrast effect. The contrast effect is a psychological phenomenon where our perception of something is influenced by comparing it to something else. In simpler terms, it's when the way we see something is affected by what we have seen or experienced just before it. For example, if you try on an expensive suit then a cheap one, the cheap one may seem even lower in quality than it actually is because of the contrast with the expensive suit. Seventh most common thinking error is confirmation bias. Confirmation bias is when we tend to believe things that agree with what we already think and ignore things that disagree with our beliefs. It's like wearing glasses that makes us see only what we want to see. We do this without even realizing it, and it can stop us from understanding different points of view. For example, if you love a certain type of food, you might remember all the times it tasted good and forget the one time it didn't taste so great. Remember, my friends, when we understand why we make choices and how our minds work, it helps us live better lives. But just knowing isn't enough. It's what you do with that knowledge that really counts. So here's my challenge to you. Use what you've learned today way in your everyday life. Pay attention to your choices, question what you assume, and use your thinking skills. Before we say goodbye, a big thank you to our wonderful community for being part of this journey. Your comments, likes, and shares keeps us excited to bring you more fascinating stuff for your brain. We appreciate you. That's all for today's video. If you gained some knowledge or even enjoyed watching this video, please consider like, share, and subscribe. It won't impact you in any way, but will be very helpful for us. Thanks for being here, and I'll see you in my next video. Till then, take care of yourself and your family. Jai Hind.